Welcome to the Unapologetic Man Podcast, the only podcast that's all about self-improvement, confidence, success, women, and being a man without making any apologies for it. What is up, you legends? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the UMP. I really do appreciate you joining me. Today, we are going to talk about 15 super high-value moves that you could do with girls to get them more attracted to you. Now, this is taking place during the first conversation, the first date, while you're dating her, and other situations you're going to encounter with women. This is how guys who are good with women behave. And you'll see a lot of frame control elements in everything that I talk about, as well as confident elements, leadership elements, masculine elements, and all these little things. But these are things that guys who are really good with women do. I've done for years. As I was thinking about them, I was like, damn, I could come up with 50 of these things. And I always over deliver in this podcast. So I'm probably going to give you more than 15 because I know stuff is just going to pop into my head from memories, etc. And I want to share those with you today. It's all about getting into a different mentality. The reason why a lot of you listening are not good with women is because you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. You've done things your whole life that you think you can also attract women with, and that's the miscalibration. Attracting women is very counterintuitive, and basically it's playfulness, confidence, and leading them. When you have those three elements together, women will get more and more attracted to you, and you'll realize once and for all that you can actually flip attraction hot switches on command. What's also really important, of course, as I always talk about, is what's going on inside your head. If you don't feel like enough, you're going to behave like a man who doesn't feel like he's enough. Women are programmed like little radar systems to be able to detect that in you. She'll see that in you and her attraction will waver because of it. If, on the other hand, you feel confident, you know you're a champion, you believe in yourself, you're going to behave in certain ways. Your tonality is going to come across in certain ways that get attraction, and she's going to get attracted to you because of it. And this is why I use NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, to work diligently on the belief systems, traumas, and archetypes of my clients so that they can feel like enough. Before we jump into the content, I need to read yet another testimonial from my 3-month coaching program. Guys, I have so many testimonial screenshots on my desktop. I really should read these in every episode, but sometimes I'm just like, dude, I don't feel like it. I don't want to go get it and like roger it up. But this one, it was just insanely well written. It was really long from my boy Mac. What is up, Mac, if you're listening? And I'm going to cut it down to just a couple of highlights, although there's so much in here specifically about the NLP that I wish you guys could read, that I will post it on my website. I have over 250 and probably now 275 reviews, testimonials, case studies. It's fucking ridiculous how effective this system is. I have really struck gold when it comes to figuring out how to make men who are unattractive with women today extremely attractive to women tomorrow. And it is just that fast because we use that NLP. So I'm going to read a couple sentences from this and then we're going to jump into the content. So Matt goes on and on about X, Y, and Z. And then he says, another testament to Mark's abilities is that I no longer avoid all people in general. Before the program, my social anxiety could be so intense that I would try to avoid all human interactions when doing things as mundane as walking into the grocery store. Now, after the program, I catch myself wanting to take the busy routes because I no longer have that fear and because I know there's a high likelihood of running into and approaching some attractive women. Lastly, I'd just like to add a few things about Mark and his program. From very early on, it was clear that Mark seemed to truly care and genuinely wanted my success. He too is trying to be the best version of himself, so he isn't going to bullshit you or try to screw you over. He also surrounds himself with great people, and he's always trying to improve his program to make it even better than it already is. I'll be forever grateful for everything Mark has given me. If you haven't joined already, you have no idea how powerful it is to go through this life-changing program that MarkSing has created with him on your shoulder. Thanks for everything again. Signed, Mac. Mac, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Guys, if you want to talk to me about joining, fill in the quick application below. We're going to talk. You're going to get on a free 1-hour NLP-based, and NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, breakthrough session with one of my coaches, a guy who's actually been through the program himself and who is an NLP expert, to see if we can at least 10x your results with women, which by the way is my guarantee to you. I will 10x your results with women, or you can stay in the program until you do. There's absolutely no risk. Sign up below. Let's just talk. There's no obligation. Let's just see if it makes sense. And if we can do for you what we've done with every single client who comes into the fucking program, including Mac. Thank you again, Mac. All right, boys, 10 high value moves to pull with girls. First and foremost, I talked about NLP. I talked about tonality and body language. The highest value move you could do is believing in yourself, obviously. As cliche as that sounds, it is so true that confidence is the most important thing. And what communicates confidence better than tonality? Absolutely nothing. So what I always tell my boys, I'm talking from the first days they're in the program, is pay attention to your tonality. Watch how you speak to women, because most guys, without even knowing it, will have their tonality go up at the end when they're speaking to women, such as, "How are you today?" And it goes up at the end. The right thing to do when you believe in yourself, when you're confident, when you know you're a champion that people will write songs about, that will be sung around campfires for generations to come, your tonality goes down at the end. Just imagine a police officer pulling you over and saying, "License and registration, please." His voice goes down at the end. So the highest value thing you can do with women is speak to them with authority. How do you know if you have authority or not? If you're speaking to her as if she's a 13-year-old girl on your soccer team and you're the soccer coach, if you're speaking to her as if you're the man, you're leading the situation, and more importantly, you are the prize and she's the one submitting the application, I can guarantee your tonality is correct. If, on the other hand, you're speaking to her like she's above you, she's a hot girl, and saying things to yourself like, "Oh, I hope she likes me," then I can guarantee you your tonality is going up. And you can even look at it from a positional perspective. Imagine her above you. Which way is your tonality going to go to meet her? Upward. Imagine, on the other hand, she's below you. And when I say below you, I just mean socially. Don't get butthurt. Don't hyperextend your anal chakra. I'm just saying socially, that you have more social power than she does. Your tonality is going to go down. So the number one thing out of the 15 is downward inflection. The next thing I like to do with women is to respond with no words, just a look. When's the last time you boys did this, where somebody said something to you and you just looked at them, either with a, "I can't believe you just said that, you idiot. You should shut up when you talk. If you were smart, you'd know you're dumb. You are a freaking corn mule because of what you just said." And it's all communicated through a look. Gangster level shit. So if a chick says something stupid and you just look at her like, "Bro, did you really just say that?" That's a high value move. Why? Because the person who's reacting the least, putting in the least amount of effort into a conversation, is the one controlling the frame. If you don't know this concept, as well as the concept of frame control, I highly suggest you listen to any and all my episodes about frame control. That's one of the central tenets. The person who's least reactive is the one who's controlling the frame. You have to control the frame for a woman to become attracted to you. I don't care how much money you have, how good looking you are, how much success you've had with women in the past. If you let her take that masculine role and she's leading the frame, she's going to lose all and any attraction for you. So when she says something stupid and you look at her like, "Dude, are you serious right now?" She's going to get more attracted to you because it communicates. I'm not going to even use words to respond to that. I don't even know what to say to that, so I'm not going to even waste my breath. I'm just going to sit here, look at you like you're a freaking canyon mule, and then we're going to move on with the conversation. Number 3, give eye contact, take away eye contact. There was a study they did once, and check this out. This is really interesting, where they had participants count the number of blinks that the other person across the table had while that person was telling a story. The person counted the number of blinks and then reported to the researchers the number of blinks. But the number of blinks didn't matter. What mattered is that they were seemingly maintaining eye contact. When the study wrapped up, they concluded that the person who was telling the story, who had their blinks counted, the other person, liked the person who was counting the blinks up to 60% more than somebody who wasn't counting their blinks. So when it comes to eye contact, what I always say is have as much eye contact with females as you do with your guy friends. Hold it when she's talking about something interesting. Look away when she's talking about something boring. Hold it when you can tell she's getting attracted to you and you want to create that moment. A lot of you guys have heard my story where I was a wedding model in Japan when I lived in Japan. I had to get dressed up in a tuxedo and I was the groom, quote unquote, and I was just a model. It was just a gig. And then the woman, the bride, had to be all dressed up in a white dress. And we would stand there holding in each other's hands, staring in each other's eyes as people came in to check out the bridal shower. We would have to stare in each other's eyes for hours. And I tell you, boys, without lying in any way whatsoever, I had sex with every single one of those girls because we had so much eye contact. We got attracted to each other, and it just wasn't her attracted to me, dude. I wanted those girls. By the end of it, I was like, dude, I'm in love with this chick, bro. I have to have her. And she felt the same way. So if you can create staring contests are really powerful. If you can say, dude, you have really good eye contact. Who taught you that? And she's like, my dad. You'd be like, come on, let's have a staring contest. That's going to create more attraction, eye contact, but also taking it away. Looking away from her when she's being dumb, when she's telling stupid stories, or when you kind of want to take away that attention, that push-pull element. Hot, cold, push-pull. She has you, she doesn't have you. So taking away eye contact at some points, looking around the room, maybe looking over your shoulder. I don't love the idea of pulling out your phone, but you could do that to take away that attention and then give it back based on what she's talking about is very, very powerful. Another one I like to do is to look women up and down, not necessarily immediately when I first see them, but say, for example, when they say something stupid, or I try to give her the feeling that like, I don't know about you, I'm analyzing you. And I kind of have a look on my face like, let's see what she's got here. And you look her up and down, basically communicating that you're the selector and she's the one submitting the application. Very powerful. Another one is to open a girl without saying anything at all. I challenge you guys, the next girl you open, or perhaps this coming weekend when you're at a bar or nightclub, walk up to a girl, point at her shoes, and just nod your head no. Not saying anything. And I've challenged my friends, and they've challenged me to do this many different ways where you don't say anything. You just walk up and you nod your head like the what's up nod. You're just like, and she's like, hey, what's up? What just happened? You put in less effort, showing you don't really care what happens. She's the one who's speaking, therefore putting in more energy, more effort, therefore you're controlling the frame. But I really like the one where you point at her shoes and you nod your head no, and they start justifying themselves to you. They're like, oh, I like these shoes. I got them at the Boot Barn or wherever it was, and now she's selling herself to you. So not using words, using expressions, taking away and giving eye contact, all really powerful stuff. Another one is to not look at her while you're speaking. Say you're driving, for example, and you have your arm up on the steering wheel and you're looking straight out the window and you're kind of talking to her over your shoulder like this. You're not necessarily looking at her while you're speaking because you need to be looking at the road. That's kind of high value. So I take that element and I do it in conversations when I'm sitting across the table from her at dinner, or we're walking down the street where I can't like be looking at her the whole time. I'll do that purposely even when I should, quote unquote, be looking at her. Take it away. Look the other direction. Pretend that you're trying to think of a memory and you're kind of neglecting to give her your eye contact and you're actually looking across the room, or you're looking at somebody else while you're speaking to her, making her feel like you can't quite keep my attention. Guys who are aloof are oftentimes really good with women, but here's the catch. You also have to be not aloof, which means interested, connecting with her. But you don't want to be the connecting guy all the time, and you don't want to be the aloof guy all the time. You want to have a mixture of both. Sometimes she can really connect with you, other times she can't. Sometimes she can really get your eye contact and attention, other times it just feels like you're out of her grasp. It's that hot, cold, push-pull kind of element that really drives women crazy and gets a lot of attraction. Doesn't only work with women, it works on us guys too. How many of you have dated a girl who you just couldn't completely have her? She was always slightly out of your grasp, but when she did give you her attention, it was like the sun was shining on you and it was the best thing ever because she was fully there, she was attentive, maybe she gave you some bomb-ass sex and then wouldn't show up at your house for another 2 weeks and you're like, fuck, I want that. That's what we have to do with women, and we could do it with all these techniques. The next one is obviously to smack her ass. Smacking a girl's ass is part of our birthright as men, provided that she wants you to smack her ass. Me and my girlfriend, every time that ass comes by, dude, I just have to smack it. And it's kind of a high value thing. And I don't know, it's like innately ingrained inside my head. I just gotta whoosh, smack that ass. And the way you smack an ass is you gotta come right off of it after you hit it. So it's like Like that, dude. You got to come right off of that thing so that you don't let it linger, because then the vibrations go down, right? If your hand is sitting on the skin, the vibrations go. So you got to go whap whap and pull it off and go whap 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 whap. 16 in a row, she's going to have sex with you, bro. If you can master that like a drummer with one hand, just being like, and just smack that ass that many times, fucking works, dude. Smack her ass if she's into it. Next one, smack her hair. So few guys do this, but I do it all the time. When I'm talking to a girl and she says something dumb or I want to mess with her, their hair is usually coming down kind of next to their ear over their shoulder. And if you smack that area by their ear, not touching them at all, just touching their hair, it makes their hair flip up in the air and kind of flip back behind their back. I do that all the time. Like I said, if you were smart, you know you're dumb. And then I'd smack her hair and be like, get out of here, you sea donkey. And they feel that playfulness. That's all important. Children on the schoolyard. That's the vibe we want to have. So smacking girls' hair, super powerful to get them into that teasing elementary school kind of vibe, which is the way to get attraction. Remember, women just want to have fun. They like that playfulness. The next one is kind of funny because I used to do this all the time when I was a player back in Arizona. I used to get these bracelets from Home Depot. It's just those balls that kind of are connected together that make a chain. And then they're connected with that connector thing that you can wear them as jewelry. I don't know if I explained it well, but they're like little tiny balls that are all connected together and make a chain. Well, I would wear those as a bracelet. They would go around my arm 2 to 3 times, and I'd have 50 million of them because literally they cost no money, and it was kind of a sick bracelet. Anytime I would hook up with a girl, I would give her that bracelet. So she would feel really special, right? Like, oh, I got Mark's bracelet, kind of like she got your Letterman jacket in high school or something like that. So giving her a piece of jewelry, giving her a memento to remember you by is kind of high value because she feels like, oh, I'm special. Even though you gave it to 6,000 girls before, and literally all the girls walking around the city have the same bracelet. Like, where'd you get that? Oh, Mark gave it to me. He did? He gave me one too, that asshole. And then suddenly you have a gang of chicks outside your house with pitchforks and fires and shotguns, and you got to jump out the back window because you're boning another girl, and you jump out the window with your underwear on, but you have a boner the size of the Statue of Liberty, so you can't get the fucking underwear on. So you jump out the window, you freaking fall into a bush half naked. Somehow your underwear shoots off your leg across the yard. Now you're running naked across the yard. The cops are showing up at the exact same time, and they think that you're a streaker. They arrest you, only saving you from being crucified by the mob of women who you gave your bracelet to. Just making shit up, boys, just talking off the cuff. And that's what you have to do too. You got to just create stupid situations, funny stories off the top of your head. Girls like that shit. Now think about it. Girls in the nightclub having fun, messing around. That might be something I talk about. Probably not in a coffee shop or a bookstore. Slightly different kind of approach, but always playful, always fun, always entertaining. Next one is leaving on a high note. I cannot suggest this enough. You have to leave on a high note, which means if I go up to a girl in a nightclub and I say something as simple as, hey, had to let you know I love your outfit, I love the way your earrings match your purse, keep up the good work, high five, then I leave, she's gonna be wanting more. And what's a big theme of this episode? Leave them wanting more. Tease them, give them a little bit, and then leave on a high note, leaving them wanting more. I'll do that oftentimes when I'm opening girls. I'll open and eject, give value, make them laugh, and then dig out. Now they're on a high note and they want more. Not only when I open them, also on the first date. I end it before I can feel that she wants to end it. When I see a hot girl at a dry cleaner or Starbucks or Jamba Juice or wherever the hell I am at, I'm always making them laugh and leaving immediately when they're laughing on the high note. You always want to dig out. You also want to ask for things on the high note with anybody. Anytime you're going to ask something, get the person on the high note and then ask your question. Much higher conversion rate. Another thing I like to do is pull her into me by her belt loops, gangster level shit. And then also push her away, sometimes by her hips. Now, this is more like we've been talking, she's attracted to me, maybe we've made out a little bit, and she's standing a little bit far away, so I'll grab her belt loop and I'll just pull her in like a fucking legend. They love that shit. Move her by the small of her back is You put your hand on the small of her back and you kind of move her away, such as if somebody's coming by or she might get hit by a car or you need to move her into a certain section of the bar or whatever it is. Moving her by that body part really feels nurturing and like you're leading to women, I've found. So by the small of her back, really effective. While talking to girls, and this happens all the time to me in the nightclubs, and I've really wanted to tell you guys about this, where you have to speak closely to women, right? Because the music is so loud. Well, what you're doing is you're getting really close and you're leaning over and speaking in her ear. She's leaning over and speaking in your ear. And what happens, and a lot of you guys may have experienced this, is as your arms are both by your side, sometimes your fingers will touch and your hands will touch. So what I do is I use that to my advantage when I can tell she's attracted to me. And I really want to preface this. I'm not touching her until I know she's attracted to me. I'm not showing attraction to her until she's attracted to me. I'm not flirting with her, going sexual, doing anything with any interest, innuendo until she's attracted to me. Then you might ask, well, what do you do before then? Just like I did with the having sex with a girl and jumping out the window story I pulled out of my ass a few minutes ago. I just talk story. I make shit up. I do cold reading. I do all the methods I teach you, except for methods that have blatant flirting inside them, and I don't compliment her. Guys, don't show interest in a woman until she shows interest in you. So I'm talking to her, she's attracted, and I lean over and I'll kind of grab her hand a little bit as I'm leaning over and talking in her ear. And then maybe I'll like let it go. Then she talks in my ear and now we're touching hands. Gangster move, dude. I have ramped up attraction like that so many times with chicks just by a little hand touch. Because hands, you guys know when you hold a girl's hand, you can like feel the energy. And I honestly believe that we do have energy centers in our hands. It's a big Qigong concept. Qigong is kind of like Tai Chi, where you have energy centers right here in the palms of your hands. And you can actually do a lot of energy work. But when you hold a girl's hand, I swear, dude, they can feel your energy. You can feel hers. It ramps up attraction. And yeah, it's a high value move. All right, guys, we're getting about 20 minutes in, so I'm going to start wrapping this down. The next one is the killer hug. Okay, first of all, boys, when you hug a girl, don't fucking put your head on her shoulder. Stand tall, bring her into your chest. Don't be the dude that goes under her arms. Go over her arms, meaning her arms should be under your arms. It makes it a lot more fitting, a lot more concise. Now, I can only speak from experience. I'm 6'2", but most of the time you guys are going to be speaking to women who are shorter than you. So make them feel shorter than you. Even if you are the same height, you're the one who goes over, she goes under. As you're holding her and you guys hug, squeeze her tight, bro. Give her a little nuzzle. And what I like to do is shoot energy into her from my heart. A lot of you guys know I'm very into spirituality and I believe in the chakra system. Your heart chakra is right here in your chest, obviously. I feel like I can push energy into girls from that. And I'll tell you, it makes sex, it makes hugs, it makes anything physical 100 times better. I have had many women tell me I was the best sex they ever had. And I believe it's because I know how to pour my energy into them to make them feel good. Why does she say it's good sex? Why does she say it's a good hug? Why does she say it's a good makeout session? It's energy. Women are always trying to get into a better state. So when I hug them, I'm like, boom, dude, I pour that energy. And then what I do is as the hug comes out, I'm kind of dragging my fingers along her back, then down her triceps, down her elbow, down her forearms, across her palms, and then out of my hands. That is the killer hug. And that is a super high value move to make her know that you are an absolute champion, bro. And she will have a life-size statue of you in her backyard with "Lay Champion" chiseled in the granite beneath your feet. Next thing you do is to open the door for her. I don't give a shit about this 2024 feminism. Don't try to help me because I'm not helpless bullshit. Women like chivalry. And in my opinion, they always will, at least if they're feminine. So if you guys are walking into a restaurant, for example, open the door for her, bro. Lead her in with your hand on the small of her back. Go to the host and choose your seat, just like I always do. Hey, bro, I don't like tables. Do you mind if we grab that booth over there? Cool. Take her to the booth, and when you guys sit down, use all the shit that I teach, not only in this podcast, but more importantly, in my 3-month coaching program. You're going to get so much to talk about. You could literally take a lifetime going through all my material and just tossing it at chicks like, oh, I'm gonna use this one and 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 that one and this one and that one and throw it at girls. Attraction on command. I'm telling you, it's just that easy. The last one I want to end with, and this just happens to be the last one on my list that I thought of, is to speak highly about your mom. Now, this may have been the last thing you guys expected for me to say, but it's very important. When a woman hears you speaking well about your mom, she knows that you have a good relationship with the feminine in general, and she knows that you'll probably treat her well as well. If, on the other hand, you're talking shit about your mom, your sister, your ex-girlfriend, what is she gonna think? Think about a girl who hates her dad. That's a huge red flag for me. If she hates her dad, I'm out like sauerkraut, I'm off like a prom dress. See you later, masturbator, after a while, pedophile. I'm out. I'm not fucking with that. So speak highly about your mom, because boys, you should be cool with your mom. And if you're not, call her right now, you idiot, and make up with her. She gave birth to you, you selfish son of a bitch. She was in labor. And here you are angry at your mom or resentful towards her or bitter towards her because of some mistakes she made. She didn't know what she was doing. She was trying her best. So call her, you son of a bitch, and tell that woman you love her, because women are amazing, especially moms. And if you can communicate that to women, they will get more attracted to you. Let's run through the list one more time, boys. Always want you guys to leave here with value, and I do feel I've delivered it today. Downward inflection in your voice, you fucking canyon mule. Respond with no words. Give eye contact and take away eye contact. Look her up and down. Don't look at her while speaking, kind of be looking away. Smack her ass, smack her hair, look over your arm as you're speaking to her, like while you're driving, or be speaking to her as you're looking off into the sunset. Give them a piece of your jewelry, as I did in Arizona. Leave on a high note, pull her in by the belt loops, move her by the small of her back. While closely talking, touch her hand, do the killer hug as I outlined, open the door for her bro-tater cuff, choose where you want to sit, and speak highly about your mom. That's 15, probably more, high value moves you should do with girls to get them more attracted to you. Boys, if you want the shortcut up the mountain, I just gave you a small taste of what I deliver in my coaching program, which is everything I know over the several decades that I've been doing this. If you enjoyed that, just wait until you come into the program, because as Max said, I give way more than I ask for in return. I care about the success of my boys. I want every single guy to leave this program giving me a review just like Mac did, and they all do, because I give a shit. And I've created something that, in my opinion, is generational, meaning this comes around once, in my opinion, every 100 years, if that. I have found the secret, and I believe in it so wholeheartedly. You can hear it in my voice right now that I want you to experience it too. And guys, I can't guarantee I'm going to be around forever. I can't guarantee I'm going to offer this forever. In fact, I do have some thoughts about possibly moving on to the next step of my evolution. So if you're thinking about pulling the trigger and being like, oh, dude, I'll do it next year, can't guarantee this is going to be around until next year, but it's around now. We are in the fucking thick of it, and I want you to come join us in my 3-month coaching program, a transformation, not just information. If you're a podcast jockey sitting around just clicking on podcasts all day, it's only going to get you so far, bro. If you want that accountability, if you want that mind transformation with NLP, if you want to fight shoulder to shoulder with me in the trenches, I am here for you, brother. Let's work together. Let's become homies, and let's get you more ass than a toilet seat. Because I know that's what you want. Attraction on command. Every single guy who's heterosexual desperately wants that, whether he admits it or not. And I know that you want it too, especially if you're still listening. So sign up below, Theodore Roosevelt. I want to meet you as soon as possible. I drop podcasts on Mondays and Thursdays, so please stay tuned for the next one, and I will see you in the next episode.